Hey everyone, welcome back to another MallDoc. I know it's been a while, but I'm super excited to be back and checking out another mall. In this episode, I got the chance to return to the Panama City Mall in Panama City, Florida. I covered this mall about a year ago in MallDoc 4, but this time, we're checking out the remaining anchors, Dillard's and JCPenney, as well as bringing the first view inside the abandoned mall ever to YouTube. I've also been wanting to tell the story of the Panama City Mall for a while now, and I'm excited to finally be able to do that. Alright, so that's enough for now. Let's go check out the mall.
Began this week for the Sears building at the Panama City Mall. The mall itself has been sitting idle since being damaged by Hurricane Michael. News Channel 7's JT Lynch spoke with Panama City officials to find out what residents should expect from the property.
Most malls are full of people, the smell of pretzels, and new shoes, but not the Panama City Mall. The mall has sat mostly unused since being damaged in Hurricane Michael. Now portions of the property are being torn down.
They want to demolish these buildings to ultimately make way for new development. Their plan is to subdivide or break out the Sears part into multiple smaller parcels that will then be individually developed.
As mentioned in that news clip, here's the former location of the now demolished Sears. Anyway, as we drive around the main side of the mall, let's jump right into the history. The name Panama City no doubt conjures images of white sand beaches and spring break tourists into most people's minds. But you're thinking of Panama City Beach. Located about 20 minutes north of the beach on Highway 98, Panama City, Florida is a quiet town of about 35,000 people, a number that hasn't changed much in the past 50 years. In 1974, a man named Robert B. Akins visited Panama City and fell in love with the small town. Robert owned a retail development company and saw great potential for an enclosed mall in the city. At a reception at the St. Andrews Bay Yacht Club on Monday, August 12, 1974, Robert and his team announced their plans for a 700,000 square foot mall to be built at the intersection of US 231, State Road 77, and 23rd Street, just north of downtown Panama City. The project would cost $20 million to build and would feature the anchors Sears and Gaffer's, with JCPenney announced as a third anchor later on. Ground was broken on the Panama City Mall on Friday, May 9, 1975, with an estimated completion date of August 1976. The structure soon went vertical, and the Panama City Mall was born. At 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, August 11, 1976, Panama City Mall opened its doors for business with Sears and Gaffer's as anchors, along with 50 other shops inside the mall, a number that would only grow in the coming months and years. Some opening day tenants include B. Dalton Booksellers, The Jewel Box, Leon's, Radio Shack, Morrison's Cafeteria, Junior Shoe World, and Chick-fil-A, as well as a 4-screen movie theater run by AMC known as PC Cinemas. The mall's center court featured an intricate fountain, a children's playground, and even a puppet theater. Panama City Mall was an instant success, bringing in shoppers from not only Panama City, but the surrounding towns, counties, and states as well. At the time, most of Bay County was undeveloped, with nothing but trees lining the roads around the city. This meant that the mall had virtually no competition and could truly thrive as the only place to shop for miles around. On August 24, 1981, just over 5 years after Panama City Mall's opening, Robert Akins announced plans for a new expansion to the mall, which would add 35,000 square feet of new space, as well as an all-new JCPenney anchor store, which would relocate from its original location in downtown Panama City, where it had operated since 1940. The Penny store and its new expansion would open in late 1982, and Panama City Mall would continue to cruise through the 80s as the shopping destination of Panama City. entrance at the former Panama City Mall. The mall entrance was right over there. And the store is still in full operation and busy. It's about Friday afternoon, so not crazy busy. People are still in work at school, but yeah. At this point, I had to run out to meet up with some family I had in town, so I made the plan to go inside JCPenney later on. However, on my way out of the parking lot, I stopped to see if I could get a look inside the mall through the former food court entrance, and to my surprise, I was able to do just that. So enjoy this glimpse inside the gutted concourses of the former Panama City Mall. That's the first look I ever had inside.
Back here at home, the Panama City Mall announces plans to permanently close.
I hope you enjoyed that look inside the mall. It was actually the first time I'd ever seen inside, so there you go. Through the rest of the 80s and into the 90s, Panama City Mall remained stable as the most popular shopping destination in the area. However, times were changing, and as the new decade began, more strip malls and big box stores were beginning to open around the mall. In addition to this, throughout the 90s, Panama City Beach would see rapid growth and an increase in development. With more places to shop on the beach, tourists had little reason to cross the bridge into the city. That being said, Panama City Mall was nowhere near endangered, with near full occupancy, a full anchor lineup, and hundreds of people visiting the mall every day. On October 4th, 1995, the Florida Panhandle took a hit as Category 3 Hurricane Opal made landfall in nearby Pensacola Beach. That day, the Panama City Mall closed early at noon in preparation for the storm. Luckily, while many buildings in Panama City received damage, the mall made it out relatively unscathed, and its parking lot would be used in the coming weeks for FEMA trailers and emergency response vehicles. Panama City Mall proved it could survive a hurricane. However, the world was changing, and the future would only bring more challenges for the mall. In May 1998, Dillard's acquired Mercantile Stores, the parent company of Gaffer's. Later that year, the store would be transitioned to Dillard's as the first and only anchor change in the mall's history. Panama City Mall entered the new millennium in great shape with high hopes for the future. However, things were about to take a turn for the worse when it came to the mall's competition. On February 13, 2002, ground was broken on Pier Park, a 1.1 million square foot outdoor outlet center that would become the shopping hub of Panama City Beach. With the construction of Pier Park, people living on the beach would have even less of a reason to travel out to the mall. Later that year, in May of 2002, Panama City Mall would officially be sold to CBL and Associates Properties for $45.7 million. The mall continued to navigate the 2000s with relative ease, adding Linens and Things and Cost Plus World Market around 2007, while also undergoing a rebranding and some visual enhancements. On February 14, 2008, Pier Park opened on the beach, and Panama City Mall continued to suffer from the competition. Also in 2008, after only a year, Linens and Things would close all its stores, leaving the mall with a vacancy that it would carry for several years. As the 2010s began, Panama City Mall remained in a solid, successful position. However, the clock was ticking, and little did anyone know that the end of the mall and the largest natural disaster in the region's history was less than a decade away. Welcome to JCPenney, Panama City Mall's only other remaining anchor store. Let's make our way back to where the former mall entrance once was. Then, we'll continue on in the history.
It looks like JCPenney has more of a permanent drywall solution. I think it was in much worse shape after the hurricane, so that makes sense that they would put up a wall.
The Panama City Mall would be sold again in 2013, along with 3 other malls in CBL's portfolio, this time to Atlanta-based Hendon Properties. The mid-2010s would see the opening of Bed Bath & Beyond in the former Linens and Things, as well as the arrival of Planet Fitness following the closure of World Market. The mall would continue to navigate the decade with ease, and soon the world rang in the new year of 2018. In June, Panama City Mall would host its annual Hurricane Preparedness Day event, where residents could meet local TV meteorologists and learn how to stay safe during the upcoming hurricane season. Meanwhile, in Maryland, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration was getting ready to publish its 2018 hurricane season forecast, which called for a below-average season that didn't alarm very many people. The same week they published their forecast, on August 11, 2018, Panama City Mall hosted Panama City's annual back-to-school bash, with vendors and entertainment including the Bay High School Marching Band. Little did anyone know when the mall closed its doors that night that it would be the last major event ever held at the mall.
Yeah, JCPenney, Panama City Mall.
Tropical storm Michael strengthening here up to 50 miles per hour now.
Still a Category 1 hurricane, wind speed sustained at about 80 miles per hour.
Hurricane Michael, serious situation. Now a Category 2 with winds of 100 miles per hour.
Continue to intensify now. Category 3 and the winds at 120 miles an hour, so it's well into the Category 3 range there.
It's expected to make landfall late this afternoon near Panama City, most likely as a powerful Cat 4 storm.
The lives of thousands of people were changed forever on Wednesday, October 10, 2018, when Category 5 Hurricane Michael made landfall in Mexico Beach, Florida, about 25 miles southeast of Panama City. The town and the mall took a near-direct hit from the catastrophic storm, which wiped structures off the map in a matter of hours. By the time the skies cleared later that week, the damage had been done, and Panama City would never be the same again. I wish I could spend so much more time explaining the details of Michael, but that's a video in and of itself. If you all would be interested in that, let me know, and I could totally make it on my second channel. In the aftermath of the storm, city officials, technicians, and mall management spent time evaluating the state of the mall to see if it was worth saving. Unfortunately, this didn't end well, and on December 5th, Panama City Mall released a statement saying that the mall would be closing permanently. It wasn't all bad news, however, as management was working hard to reopen Dillard's, JCPenney, Bed Bath & Beyond, Planet Fitness, and the cinema, all of which had exterior entrances and wouldn't be affected by the closure of the main mall. Unfortunately, unlike the other anchors, Sears announced that they would not be reopening, as the store had suffered heavy damage and the chain had filed for bankruptcy just months before, on October 15th. Into 2019, Panama City cleaned up debris and began the long process of recovery. As a quick side note, I'm actually running out of footage, so in a moment I'm gonna cut to some miscellaneous drone footage I actually shot on the beach earlier that week. Dillard's reopened quickly the week after the hurricane, with the movie theater opening in late November or early December. JCPenney had suffered more structural damage, but would follow suit, reopening their store on August 30th, 2019. After briefly reopening, Bed Bath & Beyond would close permanently sometime in 2019, relocating to Pier Park. Years would then go by, with the pandemic coming and going in 2020, and Panama City Mall continuing to sit empty and abandoned just north of downtown. At some point, the interior was completely gutted, leaving the mall in the condition it is now. Around that time, Hendon Properties had developed a rough plan for redevelopment. However, due to the property being split up between different owners and zoning, it would be difficult to make anything happen. In 2022, Planet Fitness closed, relocating to a standalone location about a half a mile north. And on New Year's Eve 2023, I made my first dedicated visit to the mall. Finally, in August of 2024, demolition began on the former Sears store and auto center, bringing the Panama City Mall up to the state we see it in today. I want to thank you all for watching this video and taking a trip through the history of Panama City Mall with me. My next video will likely be MallDoc 11. I don't know exactly what it will be yet, but I plan on being able to film some brand new malls early this summer, so stay tuned for that. I know the past few months have been a bit sparse when it comes to uploads, but I'm trying my best to get the highest quality stuff I can release, and I hope you've enjoyed the past few videos. With that, thank you once again for sticking around with me. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you at the next mall.